the Vatican is the smallest state in the world. Although the dwarf state is only half a square kilometer in size and has just under 500 inhabitants, it exerts great political influence in the world through its head, the Pope. Located in the heart of Rome, it is the center of faith for more than 1 billion Catholics. The state is ruled only by men, its citizens pay no taxes, and it is the only country in the world with Latin as its official language. But why is the Vatican, which is completely surrounded by Italy and whose area is only 1/8 the size of New York's Central Park, a country in its own right? A look at history reveals that from around the year 700, the popes of the time established their own state, the so-called Papal States, which extended over the whole of central Italy. The popes of the Middle Ages and early modern times were quite power-conscious rulers. From the Papal States, they intervened in world affairs, crowned emperors, and sent troops to other territories. It was not until the year 1303 that the popes became dependent on the French crown and therefore fled into exile to Avignon in France. Avignon was therefore the seat of the head of the Church for almost 70 years, which also included the Great Plague epidemic. It was not until the year 1377 that he returned to the Eternal City of Rome. It was only then that the residence of the popes was built on the Vatican Hill in Rome, replacing the centuries-old seat of the popes in the Lateran Palace, which is about 5 kilometers from the Vatican. The Swiss Guards, recognizable by their armor and colorful Renaissance uniforms, have been protecting the Pope since the year 1506. At that time, Pope Julius II hired one of the Swiss mercenary troops for his personal protection, and they have remained at the Vatican's side ever since. Today, the Swiss Guard is the smallest standing army in the world, serving mainly for ceremonies but still comprising well-trained soldiers and highly skilled marksmen. And yes, the troops are made up exclusively of Swiss citizens. But back to the story. A few centuries later, in the year 1870, King Victor Emmanuel had the Pope's country completely occupied by Italian troops as part of the national unification of Italy. In one fell swoop, the Pope lost all his temporal power, troops, and territories. The Papal States were forcibly incorporated into the newly founded Italy. The popes refused to recognize the authority of the Kingdom of Italy, and the Vatican remained outside Italian national control. Pope Pius IV declared himself a prisoner of the Vatican, and for almost 60 years the popes refused to leave the Vatican and submit to the authority of the Italian government. For 60 years, therefore, this so-called Roman question remained without a final settlement. It was not until the year 1929 that the Vatican City-State was created with the so-called Lateran Treaties. These stipulated that the secular territory of the Roman Church would henceforth be limited to the Vatican City. In the Lateran Treaties, the Church was compensated with 1.75 billion lire. The Vatican used the payment as seed money to replenish its treasury. According to the Lateran Treaties, the actual territory of the Vatican City only extends over the area bounded by a wall. The Vatican includes St. Peter's Basilica, St. Peter's Square, and the palaces and gardens within the Vatican walls. However, the Vatican also has a number of other properties outside its territory, such as the Pope's summer residence and the Pontifical University, as well as various churches, basilicas, and many apartments and properties in Rome. It was the fascist dictator Mussolini who returned sovereignty to the popes by signing the treaty. The Vatican was recognized as the successor to the Papal States and was given the legal status of an independent nation. Since then, the Vatican has had its own citizenship, its own bank, it mints coins, issues stamps, and its cars have Vatican license plates. The Vatican State is an absolute elective monarchy. The Vatican is governed by the Pope, who is elected by the College of Cardinals. The Pope unites all three state powers in one hand. He is the ruler over the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, which is why there is no separation of powers here. The Pope is therefore the last absolute ruler of Europe today. Because, once elected, he is head of the Vatican and the Catholic Church for as long as he himself approves of it, and no one can force the Pope to abdicate. So far, there has only been one Pope who has abdicated his office for reasons of age. That was Pope Benedict in the year 2013.